here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
Spare tire on because it hits the wheel well. Anyway, welding to come. All right, let's go. Gonna try to polish this up a little bit and getting the hang of it, and then we'll do Don's trailer real fast. And then probably wrap it up for tonight because I don't have a lot of time, but tomorrow night we'll mount the spare tire mounts. Hey, well, when you got thicker metal, it works a lot easier. Doing that tailgate trailer with that way more thin, that thinner metal, really hard. Right here, you can cut the heat up on the amperage and just rock and roll. 1/4 inch thick is awesome compared to that 1/16. So much better. I'm telling you, that 1/4 inch thick steel is just so much easier to weld. I'm not burning through it. My pattern at the beginning was terrible. I was overplacing, so this is kind of polishing up. So it's overkill like crazy on what I'm doing, but I like to I'm getting some good practice. So I'll try to make Don's a little bit prettier. But I mean, who cares? It's a 4-wheeler trailer, right? So anyway, practice makes perfect. Thinking about my old buddy Jeremy Summerall right now, who farmer, taught me how to weld. I can hear him right now. I'm going way too fast on my pattern, so it's like, it's almost like air bubbles in between it, and I'm just going too fast. Got excited because now I can kind of cut loose because it's that thicker metal, and so it's good. I mean, I've hit a ton of beads on it. I'll kind of brush it up with that brush on that grinder, but paint it up, it'll be fine. I'll do a prettier pattern on Don's. It's just, it's practice, but I'm loving this thicker steel. So if you can get the 1/4 inch steel to make it work, that's the way to go. I will say this, really want to give a shout out to Greg Sproul. My chop saw is getting worked on right now. It's not working. And so to cut all this metal, got another project coming up, doing a table, for lack of a better word, platform, whatever you want to call it, with legs on it, to put my wife Christy, her beehive. She's got 3 hives. We're gonna put get it about a foot off the ground, and so that way when she takes her nooks out, she can kind of have some space to work. Especially we're gonna be hopefully spitting out honey. This is our 2nd year, and so anyway, I was cutting a lot. I needed a lot of metal cut, and my chop saw's not working. Whatever. Greg just got a brand new chop saw, and it is awesome. So it cut this metal through like hot knife through butter, I'm telling you. So anyway, I'm gonna change trailers out, and we're gonna get Don's up here and go ahead and tack it. And I might go ahead and just brush it down and then spray paint both of them, and then that way tomorrow night we can go ahead and just attach the mounts for the spare tires on there and put our spare tires on there and be ready to rock and roll. And then, later on when I have time, I'll wire brush this entire trailer and give a fresh paint job on it. I'm gonna try to do a camouflage paint pattern on this one. So it's definitely gonna be a deer hunting trailer in the yard work trailer. All right, we'll get Don's going here in just a second. All right, we're gonna grind this down real quick, get that flake off, get it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let it cool. I'll roll this up out of the way, and then I'll come back later after it cools off and hit it with spray paint, just to put a coat on it, prevent rust. We got a lot of rain coming in, a little bit tonight, but our big storm's coming in tomorrow night. It'll be Thursday, March 2nd of 2023. So we got a good storm coming here in central Mississippi. So putting that paint on there, I'll try to help prevent some rust coming in. It's just amazing the heat that these welders put out. And so here I'll get a close up on kind of what that welding did real quick. Again, that's kind of brushed off. Look, I didn't even weld. Well, I did. I guess I welded on the back side of this. You can see, all right, see the welds. I can zoom out a little bit. There we go. So you can see the welds right here. And so that weld that's going up, and look at the imprint that it made. Coming, you've got that V shape right there, man. That's some heat. That's impressive. That's unreal. So not the prettiest welds. Again, my welder buddies that do this for a living or do a lot more than I do know that's ugly, but see this, oh, that's still really hot. So but man, it's on there. So I'm gonna roll this out of the way, let it cool, come back, put some paint on that later, go ahead and do Don's trailer. All right, so took some vice grips. They're pliers that kind of have a little spongy thing to it, but you can look them up. We call them vice grips. I guess that's what they're called. But anyway, I've pinched this piece of angle right here, and I'm about to do some tacking with the weld. Again, I can't tell you how much easier it is when you're dealing with thicker metal. So again, I've cranked that up to about 90 on the amperage, and mine is that's an AC welder, and I've been told, I may be wrong on this, but AC is harder to weld with. DC is easier. That may be wrong, I don't know, but that's all we've ever had. And that thing's, I mean, I'll be 44 in a couple months, so that thing's got to be 40 years old, and it's still running good. It's old, you can tell. So here is the clamp. You always want to make sure you have a good ground. That this clamp right here, this is your ground. So I took that grinder and kind of did some grinding right there with that wire brush to get a good connection, and then we'll start welding. So we're gonna get after it. Yeah, that's a pretty good bite right there. That's what I had last time, so it worked pretty good. All right, let me get my gloves. Put the welder on. There we go. And again, the magic helmet. They might not even make the old helmets anymore. The old helmets were just solid black right here. You couldn't see out of this ever. And so you would kind of get going with your arc. As soon as you're about to do the arc, you close your eyes on the arc or whatever, and then kind of pull it down. Way harder, especially for your novice beginner. And on episode 1, you saw how frustrated I was getting early on. And so this magic helmet, or whatever you call it, where it's clear, and when the arc starts on the weld, it goes dark. That's a game changer, especially for do-it-yourself projects like we're doing, very novice type jobs. And I am like I said, beginner. But let's get it going. I'm using these all-around rods. These farmers love these because it's just it's a thicker. And I think this is the 6011, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 6011. So we put it in here, and I've actually started going with more of a 90-degree angle. You got to play around and practice with it. Get what's comfortable to you. I should be wearing pants right now, but I'm too lazy to go in there and put pants on. And it's 84 degrees today, so every now and then I'll get a spark on my leg and it hurts. So whose fault is that? That's this guy's fault. But I do have sleeves on, and man, it's popping me like crazy. So sleeves, pants, boots, recommended. Again, I'm getting popped every now and then. It hurts a little bit, but I just want to hurry and get this done here tonight. Oh, I see it now. This metal's a little bit more thin. It's thinner, just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to. I can't stay as long on there because that almost burned through just about. Hey, welds are still ugly. Sorry, Don. Again, like I said, I'll show a close-up later. It's not super pretty, but man, it's gonna get the job done. I'm gonna overkill it to make sure it's good and sturdy. And yeah, I don't know. It's where I'm messing up, but having a good time. So I'm gonna play with this a little bit more and kind of pretty that up. And then I'll take a break, and then we'll come back and let it cool off, and then we'll paint it. Close though, almost done. This is a much smaller job. Ooh, I just burned my toe good. So I probably should be wearing boots and long pants, but I'm an idiot, and lazy. I'm just gonna keep doing it though, because that's how smart I am. That got hot. Come back and patch that up a little bit. Whoopsie. Just here to tell you, welding sparks don't feel good on your bare legs. Just trying to show y'all what not to do. Duh. God. Best way to learn is by seeing it done, right? So don't go bare-legged when you weld. Or weld like this, way away. Problem is when you can't see. Oh, I'm proud of that one. That was a good bead right there. I burned through the top part of the metal, but we're gonna forget about that. Yeah, baby. All right, put the grinder on here in just a second. All right, we're gonna put the grinder to it real quick, get the flake off, when it welds, it'll make that metal turn color. It kind of burns it almost. It's kind of weird, hard to explain. But there's some discoloration there. Well, I'm inverted, so I can't really. All right, right there. There's some discoloration up and down that. So I'm gonna grind that all down, let it cool. My trailer should be cooled off. We'll hit it with some spray paint so it looks like, and we'll come back tomorrow night and mount the spare tire mount. All right, we'll move this other one and paint it a little bit. So I just grabbed this with my bare hand earlier, and it's cooled off. And man, I shook the mess out of it. I mean, it's there. It is solid as all get out. So I'm just gonna put some. It's not gonna be my base color, but I'm just gonna put some black paint on it. This metal's never been painted before. Again, I'm just going to preserve the metal to keep it from rusting, because I probably won't wire brush the entire trailer and paint the entire trailer till, I mean, it'll be weeks from now. I just don't have time. But at least that part will be preserved, and then we'll do the next part later. Anyway, put a couple things of spray paint on it. Again, just the area that I've welded that's been exposed. All right, that'll be good enough. I know that's ugly as all get out because you got black sticking out, but again, I'm just trying to, I mean, that metal's bare, it's never been painted, and it's very humid here right now. And like I said, we got some rain coming in the next couple days, so that'll kind of help prevent it from rusting. And because if it did, I'd have to wire brush it again, which wouldn't be the end of the world. I could just do that, but I just wanted to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and paint that entire trailer later. Let's go ahead and do the, let's see if the other trailer has cooled off any. It's been a couple minutes, may not be. When it's too hot right here, that paint just won't really adhere too well. Could flame up on you, and we definitely don't want that. Very, very flammable. So let's see. Ooh, that's still pretty hot. We're gonna wait a little bit. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty hot. All right, so we painted it. It's the paint kind of dried enough. Took a little break, and then I have mounted just a simple little, you can get it off the internet. I think I paid $45 for it. It's a great mount. The plate right there, 4 bolts. Now maybe I shouldn't have gotten 2" by 2". I did not measure this, or I just didn't weld it straight, but I had to get a grinder and kind of grind a notch in there for that bolt to fit through. But we got it done. Thank you, Mr. Grinder. Put some Loctite on these bolts right here. Let them hold. Tighten it real good. Thanks to my FlexVolt DeWalt power system. And so this should seal pretty good. We're gonna put this, it's a weird bolt pattern. I did not even know that wheels and tires had bolt patterns. I understood the different lugs. So there's 2 numbers, and this is a 5 lug. So the first number, it'll say 5 dash whatever, or 4 dash, or 6 dash. So the first number is the amount of lugs, lug nuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the second number are the amount of inches, and it's really weird the way they do this. I'm sure there's a logical reason for it, but it is the easiest way is to go to Amazon and get like a template, like a bolt pattern. You put it over it, it measures it for you. But the way they do it is, it's basically the back of one lug, skip a lug, and go to the middle of the other lug, or middle of this lug to the back of this lug. And these are 4.75 inches, 4 3/4, which is a very odd pattern apparently nowadays. Very hard to get. And this is a 14-inch rim. Mine is a 15-inch rim. So that is Don's spare. That's 14-inch rim, 5-4.75 inches. And this is my spare tire, 15-inch rim, 5 lug, 5 holes, and 4 3/4 pattern. Apparently 4.5 inches and 5 inches is very common, very easy to get here in Central Mississippi. I had to get this off the internet. Love to buy local when I can, but literally I searched for months and months and months. Anson's trailer that I fixed on episode 1, it was the exact same pattern as this, 15-inch rim, 4 3/4 inch pattern, so 5-4.75 inches. So we're about to put this tire on. Let's see if it fits. Should, according to the instructions. So I got this, and let's see if it mounts on there. All right, get a better vantage point here. All right, moment of truth. We'll see if it works. And it does. Works perfect. Mounts good. So I'm gonna tighten these big lug nuts. I'll tighten these on there really good. And spare tire's ready to go. I love the fact that it's got a little room in the front of the trailer. So when Don or if I'm borrowing his trailer, we flip that trailer jack, we hook up to a four-wheeler. That's not gonna be in the way. So good to go. Really turned out well, and we'll do mine later. So episode 2, spare tire mount. Walker time. Mount the spare tire on the four-wheeler trailer. Yes, it's a wordy title for this episode, but you know what? It's episode 2? No, this is episode 3. Can't count. But we'll rock and roll with it. Put another episode later on. Thank y'all. You have a good night. All right, so we've kind of swapped trailers now, so another day is beautiful. Spring break has just started. This is a Friday, March the 10th. And so done with Don's trailer for the most part. We got to do some tack welding on that expanded metal, which is the floor of it, which will take 5 minutes. So we're essentially done with it, and we'll check the lights to make sure they're working. So now I've got this one that I bought from Don a while back, and I've just now had time to work on it. And the first thing I've done today is I've used a grinder and cut that old trailer jack out, and it took a little while. And so there's your triangular part, and you would just take the grinder and just work. And I don't have the heaviest grinder right now, but so it took a little time. And I worked all 3 sides because this is professionally welded. It was really done well. And so when you work that welding bead down enough, and then just old-fashioned hammer and chisel, and would work on that edges and finally get that crack. And it probably took me 20 good minutes, excuse me, to grind that and get that out of the way. So now the old one's out, and now I'll show you kind of what I've done. I've got just under a foot, like 12 inches worth of 1/4 inch angle iron, 3 inches by 2 inches angle iron, and I've got it clamped, and I'm about to weld it. I'm gonna tack it first to kind of get it set, and then I'll put a good steady bead all the way across. So we'll take a look at it before I get started. As you can see, I've got the C-clamps that has a hold of it, and to keep it still, to give me, so I can tack weld that just to hold that piece in place. And again, a good workbench, got it up. I'm 6'2", so I don't have to bend over and work all the time, keep it up high. That's something to keep in mind as you continue to work for an extended period of time. So again, there's that piece of angle iron. Get my finger out of the way. You can see how I've got it clamped. And again, that's 1/4 inch thick. That's some good heavy angle iron that is gonna work fantastic. So again, the purpose of this, the reason I'm doing this, is I'm about to put this swivel jack on there. And I just took that vertical jack. I prefer the swivel jack. You can see Don's over there. He already has one on to where if I ever hook this trailer up, this is a 6x10. It's a small trailer, max payload. I get to see this is an old trailer. So it says 5,000 pounds, no more than 700 pounds on the tongue. I don't know if you can read that or not. And this is an old trailer. But if I ever hook this up to the four-wheeler, just to tote it around, picking up sticks, or just doing whatever small jobs, four-wheeler and a small trailer, a place like this is just perfect. Or a deer camp, or when you're deer hunting, and you can hook it up to your four-wheeler, put a 2-inch ball on the back of your four-wheeler, and then you can turn that trailer jack to where it's out of the way, and you can turn easily, especially if you have a big rack on the back of your four-wheeler, things like that. Just makes it so much easier to hook up, and you won't tear anything up behind your four-wheeler. Just it'll be able to hook up there. So this is the trailer jack again. Ordered, I think, on Amazon. I can't remember where I got it from, but it was with tax, I think around $45. It's the way to go. And all right, so we'll get to welding here. All right, so we've got the welder cut on, and again, thicker metal is going to make it so much easier to weld this together. If you remember episode 1, I was using some 1/16 inch real thin stuff, and I was fixing Anson's tailgate to his 6x10 trailer, and this ought to go a lot easier once I get it started. And again, long sleeves. It is kind of cool out. It's in probably the upper 50s, low 60s. Actually, it feels great outside, but keeps the sparks off of you, and when you're welding, you will get sunburned. I learned that the hard way. If you remember one of my earlier episodes, I'm an idiot, okay? Long pants. I've got boots on because I burned my foot up as a spark almost went through my shoe. So good thick welding gloves. We're going to get started. All right, here we go. It's really turning out good. I can't tell you how much easier it is when you're dealing with 1/4 inch steel. You can turn the heat up, the amperage up on your welder, and of course I've been practicing a little bit more, so that's that part of that learning curve. And but the thicker steel is just the way to go. Now, the thicker steel is not feasible on a lot of your projects, but for this trailer, this is perfect. And so get to finish this up, and then we'll swap it. I'll have to get underneath and weld from the bottom, so I'm not really looking forward to that, but to get it a good solid hold. And then get that done, we'll mount the trailer jack on there and see what it looks like. I think I can take the clamps off now, though. See, clamps did their job. Very similar to Don's, looks like. And, yeah, obviously this nut and bolt look like that's the one that'll go through the caster or the wheel from the jack. Here's the main component. You can see right here, you pull this out, it's spring loaded right here, and that's what allows it to turn, to swivel, and it's got different holes in it that lock it into place. It clicks into place. Very cool, very practical. This is a 1,000 pound swing back, rotating, I call it. This is a boat trailer back, but obviously I'm using it for a 4-wheeler trailer. Multi-purpose. $45, man, you can't beat that with a stick. And here's the little handle to go in here. Here's the bolt for that. So pretty easy. But in case it's not easy to you to mount, I've installed these before, but instructions. Us guys are kind of hard-headed about reading instructions. So if I do run into some trouble, I will swallow my pride and break this open. All right, so that's busted loose. We're gonna take a break. Again, let this cool off. Put some spray paint on it, if I can talk. And again, we're gonna have a little fun with this. It's probably gonna end up being pretty ugly, but I've got different colors. I've got a light tan, a dark tan, kind of like hunter green, and a black. And I'm going to paint this thing camo. I'm gonna camouflage it up. Looking forward to that. All right, be back in a second. All right, if you can tell or not, it's definitely not red anymore. It's almost like a light brown or a tan. Oh, I missed a spot right there. We'll let that dry for a little bit, then we'll put the trailer jack on. All right, last little installment right here. We're going to install the spare tire mount for the 5x10 trailer that I've been working on. Got the trailer jack mounted. We'll show that, and then what we're about to do here in just a second. All right, again, there's that trailer jack, and again, here's this extra piece of angle that I welded when I was working on Don's trailer the other day. And this is what we're gonna mount to it. You have your back plate, and again, it'll mount just like this on that piece I just showed you. That back plate there, just like we did Don's. Very simple instructions, and where to put your bolts for your bolt patterns. Again, I didn't even know about bolt patterns, but there's 2 numbers typically when you're dealing with tires, rims, lugs. The first number are the amount of lugs, and that is a 5 lug, so 5, and then a hyphen 5 dash. And then the second number is your bolt pattern, 4.5, 4.5 inches or 5 inches. It's very standard, of course. Mine are 4 3/4, so very hard. And the way that's measured is it's the outside of one lug. You skip a lug and it'd be to the center of the other one, or the center to this one to the outside of that one. Or you can just go to Amazon and buy a little template and stick it on the lugs, and it tells you. That's the easy, dummy-proof way to do it, and that's what I did. And so Don has a 4 3/4 inch bolt pattern. I think he's on 14-inch rims, but he has a 5 lug. And then Anson's, the one we worked on back in episode 1, has the exact same as mine here. 15-inch rims, I'm pretty sure it's 15, and then 5-4.75. All right, so let's mount this thing real quick. All right, so I've kind of just got it up there a little bit. I forgot I had to do this on Don's as well. So this is 2-inch by 2-inch angle iron, and I guess it's just a little too wide. And so I'm having trouble getting this bolt through. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna come and notch just a little bit this angle iron right here. So I'm gonna mark it with the chalk, and then I'll take this off, notch that out, so I'll be able to put the bolt through. All right, got the grinder hooked up. We're gonna knock that out real quick. That bolt to be able to come all the way through. Voila. All right, I'm gonna tighten it up and we'll take another video of it. All right, so we're about to put the lug nut bolts on there. Sorry, the bolts that come out and hold the spare tire in place. Got some Loctite that I'm gonna put on these threads, and then we're gonna kind of tighten it down. I'll give you a a look-see here in just a second. We'll put this trailer down. Right. Handle. All right. It tells you where, the directions tell you where to put the bolts, and for my bolt pattern, which is again the 5-4 3/4, 4.75 inch, these two go on the right side on this particular unit. And again, it tells you that. I'm gonna put this Loctite on here as well, just try to keep it from backing out. Again, you can just see, yeah, I'll get a close up. So I'll put that Loctite here, and then these nuts are firm now. You can put the spare tire on, and I'll do that real quick, and then put the lug behind it. All right, just put the tire on. Only thing I don't like is that the nuts that go on the outside of the lugs there, it's a different size, 13 and 16, which that's common for most of your lug nuts, but the ones on the inside that mounted them to the plate were a little bit smaller, they're 3/4. Not the end of the world, but might need the nuts there. All right. Again, here we go. And we'll put more Loctite on there as well. That is a well-mounted spare tire. Awesome. So again, it looks good. It's not hitting the wheel well here. It's not too far in front. When we hook the trailer up to the back of a four-wheeler, we can swivel that trailer jack out of the way. And also this tire is not rubbing the back. You got, you can turn. Now when you turn left, obviously because the trailer jack's on that left side, it'll be turned horizontal. You can't turn as sharp as obviously as you can to the right. But that's a neat little 5x10 trailer. Got a lot of work to do left on it. So we'll call this Matt and Don's four-wheeler trailer part 1. Don's is done. I got a little tacking on that expanded metal, a few spots that are busted loose, like literally like 4 or 5 of them, so that's not long at all. And then I want to take this floor out completely, wire brush all the rest of it, wire brush underneath the undercarriage there. It's got some rust on it, rewired. I've got the wiring kit in the box, and then I'm gonna order a cotter key set for this little pin here, and then hopefully the rest of it we're gonna paint it and camo it. My good buddy Kenny and his wife Lauren were over here the other day, and we were kind of tampering a little bit with what kind of camo pattern we're gonna do. I was thinking about doing this and then the black as a base. I think I'm gonna try to do that as a base and come back and hit it. I kind of like that, but we'll play around with it. It's a four-wheeler trailer, so it's get dirty and dusty and muddy. So a couple of other projects that we'll get on. So again, we're gonna wrap this episode up, and we'll call this Matt and Don's four-wheeler trailer part 1. We'll have a part 2 when we come back and do some tacking there on Don's trailer a little bit, and then we're gonna replace the floor. We're gonna take this floor out of this trailer, wire brush everything, and paint it. Later on, we're gonna cut some firewood in another episode, probably here in the next couple of days. This floor we'll do later in the week, I hope, is what I'm gonna try to get to. And then later on, we'll replace the big floor, the floor of the big trailer. That's gonna be quite a job. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This is part 1. There will be a part 2 later to these 2 trailers. And so from Matt Walker, thank you for watching. Walker time, out.